Hi players, bonjour from Paris, my name is Asaf and welcome to my channel Easy Board Games. Today we're going to review Escape from Stalingrad Z that was designed by Marco Pecota and was published by Raybox. Now do pay attention that this is a review copy that was sent to me by this company. So let's hit the table and see what this game is all about. In Escape from Stalingrad Z, we're going to play a team of soldiers. Some of them are Wehrmacht, the other ones are from the Soviet Union. And we will pass some scenarios until we will actually be able to escape from this city. Now at the beginning of the game we will choose one of the characters. In this case I have chosen Lydia. And then we're going to set up the first scenario. Now this is going to be a super easy scenario. So as you can see, you have here pretty much in every scenario how you will need to set up the game. For example, where your character is going to start at. So in this case it's going to be on the letter A. Then what is your objective? Most of the time it will be just to get the hell out of there. So you will need to bring your character into this green arrow and you will have some secondary objectives. In this case it will be to search in these two locations that are assigned in the beginning by this. Also in the beginning of each scenario we'll be instructed how many zombies and at which type we'll be able to maybe encounter during the scenario. So we have a few types of zombies. The most basic of them are called beta. Those are the yellow ones. Then we have armored, kugelfish, and then we have alpha and omega, and well, you understood the rest. And each type of zombie will have a different move, attack, health, maybe some powers. And in this case we can see that we'll need to start with 4 beta zombies. So basically we'll need to take all the zombie tokens, so 1, 2, 3 and the 4th one. And then we need to flip them to the other side. Now in this case it doesn't really matter because we already know that it's going to be the same type. But let's say for example that we would have had 5 zombies and one of them would have been an armored one. So we just need to mix all the zombies and we're going to put it over here at the zombie pool. Next we will need to see who is going to start this round. So we're going to throw a die. Usually it's going to be a D12 with some modifiers, and then we'll see who is going to start this round. Since now in this room we don't have zombies at all, then obviously we're going to be the only character that is going to start. Every turn we will have some movement points that we would like to spend, and we will need to declare in the beginning if we're going to walk or run. If we are walking, we're only going to have 4 movement points, and then we have a list of everything that we can do while we're moving, and this list is going to be right over here as you can see. And it's pretty cool because this is a really nice player aid that we're going to talk about a little bit later. But basically you're going to be able to move, pick up things, maybe trade some equipment with one of your friends. You'll be able to open doors, search, and so on. Also, as you can see, we have some terrain that is going to be marked with yellow frame. And that means that this is a tougher terrain to move on and that will cost us more. Now, every time after we've been activated and the zombies were activated, we're going to push the round tracker 1 step to the right. Now, if there is nothing in the square, then everything is okay, we're moving forward. But if we're going to land on a square with the letter S, that means that we'll need to spawn a zombie. And that means that we're going to take one of these zombies and we're going to put it where we have S. Now, since this is a very basic scenario, just to get to understand the game itself, we're going to spawn only in that place. But in other scenarios, we're going to have different places where zombies will be able to be spawned. So again, in this case, we're going to take one of these tokens. We're not going to reveal it yet. We're going to put it right over here. And we're only going to reveal it when this zombie will be in our line of sight. So in this case, since obviously we cannot see the zombie, then we will not be able to understand which type is it. Now again, because this is the first scenario, then we already know that all the zombies are going to be beta, but you understood that in later scenarios we're going to have a different kind of zombies. So we never really know what we have over there, which is another cool thing that we'll talk about it a little bit later. Now during your search, in this scenario, you can see whatever you will be able to get here, either a medkit, ammunition, or some food. And in other scenarios, you'll be able to maybe get different things. I don't want to destroy your experience because there are some things that are cool when you find out about them. but you already understood that you'll be able to get maybe some weapons, maybe some equipment, as you can see over here, that will help you a little bit later. Now, when we come back over here to the player mat, we can see that we have here a few things. First of all, when the health marker reaches 0, then you've been turned to a zombie and you pretty much lost this character. And also you have here fatigue. Now the fatigue marker will not move when you decide to run or to walk, but every time you will be maybe cold or hungry, then your fatigue level is going to go up. And as you can see, every time we're going to pass one of these threshold, we're going to have a negative effect. What does change if I want to run or walk is something that I will not talk about it now because this is not how to play, but this is something that will modify your cover, which is more relevant when there are zombies on the board. Another thing that you can see over here is the 2 places that we can have weapons. Now the grenade and the weapon over here are printed on this player mat, but the character does not start with them. So really you start the game with absolutely nothing. Also, every time you'll kill a zombie, you'll be able to get some experience points, which will unlock when you reach those experience points some more advanced powers or more advanced skills, better to say. And this is pretty much about it. Now, during the game itself, it's true that you start only with 1 character, but in other scenarios, you'll be able to have more. How many more? I don't want to say because again, I don't want to spoil for you the surprise or what is going to happen, but just take it in consideration. After your character at some point have reached the green arrow, that means that this mission has been completed. Only then you'll be able to read whatever is written in the exit section. So no spoils, don't read it before. So back to the review part of this video. First of all, the impressions from the game is that this is a cool game. In the beginning, what I thought is that it's a little bit going to be like V Commandos or something like that. But actually I saw that, first of all, this is not at all a stealth kind of game. It has much more depth. What do I mean by that? I mean that, yes, combat here will be resolved maybe by a D12 die, but also you're going to have here quite a lot of modifiers. So it is important if you maybe stayed stationary when you finished your turn, or maybe you walked, you run, you're fatigued, or everything is okay, you are not cold, you are not hungry, which weapon are you going to use, and so on and so on. Maybe you have some skills. So you understood what I'm saying. While if there is a die here, there are going to be many things that you will be able to mitigate or actually make things harder. So you will have to a little bit do some calculations here. I'm not saying that this is going to be exam in rocket science or something like that, but it is going to be a little bit more than just run and shoot, and your weapon is doing 3 damage and the zombie has 1 health, so that's it. No, you're going to have here like line of sight, line of fire, the arc of fire, is the zombie on your side, in your back. There is a little bit here fog of war. So already I'm going to other parts of what I liked in this game. So that's the first thing that I liked. I'm like, okay, there's like more than meets the eye, let's say it like that. So this was like a very good a surprise, let's say, when I opened the game, because I received it, and I don't know if you already know me by now, but even when I'm backing a game, for example, in a Kickstarter or one of the crowdfunding platforms, I just like see the general, like what is this game all about, but I don't go in depth. Like I'm not going to see like a lot of playthroughs and reviews or whatever. I'm like, if this game is interesting for me, then I'm going to pledge for it. I'm going to forget what I pledged for, exactly what like I did, for example, with Voidfall. I'm like, Space 4X sounds good, pledge, and then I'm like, 1 year pretty much after, I'm like, all right, so this is the game, let's see what this is all about. So when I received Escape from Stalingrad Z, I had like zero idea what this game is all about, and I'm like, all right, let's try and do this. So the first pleasant surprise, that the game is deeper than you would have expected it to be. Second thing that I liked here is a little bit with the tokens. Let's go back to the board. I like that you don't see exactly from the beginning which kind of zombie you're going to encounter, because this is a little bit like a fog of war kind of thing. So even though that you're, for example, in this room right over here and the door is closed, and you can hear, your character can hear that there is a zombie somewhere over here, okay? Of course, you can see the location. You don't know which kind of zombie that is. And that, to be honest, is going to give it a little bit more of a realistic kind of feeling, which is something that I appreciate. Another thing that I liked over here, and it might be something that maybe other players would not like, is that this game can be punishing. And that means that everything, and I mean everything, is going to cost you movement points. If your character is right now like this, that means that it's facing this direction, and you would like to face this direction, that means turning it by 90 degrees, you're going to pay a movement point for it. If you want to move sideways, that just means that you're going to pay 2 movement points for it. You want to go on more harder terrain, you're going to pay for it. Search, open door, pass equipment to another friend that you have next to you, and so on and so on. Another thing is that if you're, for example, going into combat with a zombie and he's right next to you, that means that right now you're in close combat with this zombie and you'll have this token over here. And you have many small other things that you're like, make this game, I don't know if I can say it like realistic, okay, because, hey, zombies in the Second World War, but let's say that we're in this world of like zombies in the Second World War, then this is, I think, getting it to be a little bit more realistic, and I like it. Another thing that I like is like, hey, this game has no board. Okay, so let's talk about the obvious thing. So let's say that we finish this scenario and we're going to go to another one. Now, I don't want to destroy too much, okay, from what is going on over here, but let's just see the next mission right over here. Then you already have a couple of exits and you're going to begin with some zombies on the map already. And again, you'll be able to search and you can see that you're going to start completely on the other side of the room, and you're going to start with different amount of characters. Again, no spoilers, but you know. So in any case, this is pretty cool because there is no board. It's not like it's more like a Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, and not like Gloomhaven, the basic game that you have to put everything. So obviously the map here is very dynamic, which again gives you more flexibility, and that means that you'll just have more, let's say, replayability. Although I don't know if after you're going to finish this huge book of like a campaign, you're going to restart it again, maybe it's a little bit of a different difficulty, but it just means that even if you're going to do this game one time, that means one campaign, then you're going to have here a lot of content to pass through. Now, I don't know if this content will always be like fresh and something new, because this game can get repetitive, okay? So you can already understand that, okay, you're fighting zombies, one scenario, the second one, third one. It is true that every scenario it's going to be, first of all, more difficult, and you'll have elements that are different, but I don't know if you'll be able to pass 30, 40 maps like this, or pass again the campaign and then restart it again. That is more up to you if this is in your alley. Personally, me, but this is just me, I think that this is a game that I would have played like one time throughout the entire campaign, which is something that I'm probably going to do, and that's pretty much about it, and I'm okay with it. And that brings me to the next point that I like, is actually the production of this specific pledge. This is the travel, or let's say the book kind of print of this game. So you have it in a few kind of ways. You had it in the what you see right over here, and then you have the more upgraded part of the game, which is the box set. So you receive also the dice and a bit more tokens, and also standees for all the for the zombies and for your characters. And then if you want to upgrade it more, and you have the miniatures themselves. But I have to tell you that I'm so happy to have a game without miniatures. You know, it's like, I don't need miniatures in every game. So standees or even tokens is something that is completely okay with me. So that's another thing that I liked over here. So you can really decide how much you would like to invest in this game. You will still be able to play it, but for example, when you're taking the book set, then you will have to print, like you can see over here, your characters. So you'll need to print like I did over here, or with all the other characters, which is something, hold on, I'm going to get to that. And also you will need to print some of those weapon tokens. So I have to say that I'm not a big fan of like print and play. I prefer to have everything in advance, and the beauty in here is that actually the difference between the book set and the box set is not that huge. So if I would have needed to choose again what I would have liked to have, I would definitely go for the box set. First of all, because I think that instead of like having paper, you'll be able to have like really nice boards with all the dice and all the tokens. Like you don't need to print for the weapons or something like that. And I think that for not a lot of more money, you'll be able to get really much more value from this game. So it's not like you're going to have something crazy over here, but hey, this game's tag price is pretty cool. I like it. So just like I said before, I'm not a fan of print and play. So for me, it's a little bit of weird over here because we're only talking about one more punch board. For example, it was a little bit for me a weird decision not to include the punch board, for example, or like the tokens for the weapons. Another thing that I'm not so sure how I felt about it, but I think I'm leaning towards like that is a good thing, is the rulebook itself. So when you open in this book set, you can see, I mean, you cannot see because in the camera you cannot see it well, but I'm telling you, and I'm going to show you in the camera this. And this rulebook is relatively, for this kind of game, is big, okay? Let's take down all the big photos and whatever, but this easily has like 40 pages of rules. Now, this game, while is deeper than what you would have expected, it's not a very complicated game, it's not a complex game. At the end, it's just like activating the heroes or the zombies, and then activating the other party that was not activated, and then you have like the end of the round. Then I mean, you do have here like some level of depth, but not crazy one. So at the beginning was like, really, for this kind of game, I'm going to read all of these rules. So what I appreciate in this rulebook is that you have examples for everything. So you're going to finish reading this rulebook, or maybe 1.5 times, and understanding pretty much how does the game go. And then I think that after your second scenario, when you'll see a little bit combat and a little bit more of complicated situations, it will be like, oh, okay, so you'll consult the rulebook like 1 or more times, but then it's like, it's going to be okay. So again, it surprised me, and I think that I would have written the rulebook maybe a little bit differently to make things a little bit more clear, but that's just me. But in any case, if I need to choose from a thinner rulebook and not understanding and having this rulebook but able to play this game when I finish reading it, then definitely I appreciate this rulebook much more. So all in all, guys, after the first few scenarios, the feeling that I have from this game is very positive. Again, if this is your kind of game, if you're expecting something super crunchy, super complicated, or with like an incredible story, you're not going to find it here, okay? But this is a game that is not presuming to be something like This War of Mine. This is basically just like something that is like a little bit more than like a run and gun kind of game with some stories, okay? So there is a story here, okay, which I appreciate because it adds one more dimension to this game. I don't know personally if I will not get, I don't know, tired of this game after half a campaign or maybe after a full campaign. But I think that especially for the price tag, this is definitely something that is worth checking out. Guys, if you've been watching so far, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Like and comment on the video. Tell me, what do you think about the game? What is your first impression after watching this video? And hey, we're really getting closer to the 500 subscribers mark, which I will have a very, very sweet free giveaway for you guys. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.